50 subgenres, 10 films per subgenre. We are on our 7th subgenre. And this one is possession horror. And this is a little different than religious horror. So let's not get the two things mixed up because I'd like to do two different categories for each of these with hopefully 10 films in each. We'll see. I'm going to try not to mix and match, but that's going to be really hard because a lot of possession films are religious based. So it's going to be really hard. And that even my number one, my first film that I'm going to talk about, where I really think possession horror starts and ends. Everything else exists in the shadow of this film. Pretty obvious what it's going to be, right? We were talking about The Exorcist from 1973, the most commercially successful horror film ever made at the time of its release. And I still think 50 years later, the gold standard. A 12-year-old girl in Washington, D.C. begins exhibiting increasingly disturbing behavior, and her mother exhausts every medical explanation before turning to the Catholic Church. What makes The Exorcist so enduring is how grounded it is. Freaking shoots this film like a documentary in some cases. The performances are completely naturalistic, and the horror is built on a foundation of genuine faith and doubt that gives it a weight most horror films never achieve. Ellen Burstyn as the desperate mother is as important to this film as anything the demon does. People were physically leaving cinemas when this came out. Ambulances were called. It was genuinely treated as a public health event. 50 years later, it still works because Friedkin understood that the scariest thing about possession isn't the green vomit or the spinning head. It's the idea that something could take your child and there would be nothing at all that you could do about it. That fear is primal and universal, and this film exploits that so perfectly. It's here, obviously, because it's the foundation of the entire subgenre and because it is still one of the most effective horror films ever made.